Have you ever wondered what separates what you seem to think is the abnormal? The people who make the money, who have the happiness, who live their absolute dream life from you, then you might want to pay attention. So I decided to come out here, see all these Indian petroglyphs? I thought it would be a perfect backdrop for this message. You see, there's all these superheroes like Batman and Superman, and my personal favorite, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they all have this crazy origin story. I'm gonna jump out of the wind. Crazy origin story about how they went from normal to superheroes. So for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they got stuck on some ooze down in the sewers, and they went from being turtles to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with sais and swords and nunchucks and all the other cool toys. And so that's why I want to make this video. You know, everyone always wonders what goes in to somebody doing things like I do. Somebody who went from bankrupt, crippled, not being able to walk, to having a life that most people would dream of. Here's the funny thing. All I did was decide to make a change. As I was laying there in that hospital bed, coming out of surgery, I realized I could never go back to that life. I lived a life I hated. Have you ever seen that movie Tommy Boy, where Chris Farley is sitting there trying to make a sales pitch, and he's talking about how he every single day wants to yank it into a bridge embankment and end it all, and flips his hair up. I don't have hair. That was me every single day. So before my back surgery, I worked in a job I hated. But I stayed there because I had a family. And every single day on the way to work, I thought about that. I thought about, would it just be better if I just yanked it into this bridge and ended it all? Now, not many people talk about that stuff because it's scary, like really scary, because I really was at that point where I was about to just end it all. And then I had my back surgery. And as I came out of back surgery, backtrack, I woke up unable to walk, couldn't feel my legs. I dragged myself by my forearms to my son's crib, who was crying. I called my wife. I told her I couldn't feel my legs. She needed to rush home. And then I blacked out from the pain. My wife hauled me into the car, took me to the hospital, and they gave me two choices. They said, either you have emergency back surgery or you never walk again. Well, that's not really a hard choice, is it? You know, basically, let's either do this little procedure, big procedure, or you can never walk again, meaning you can never play with your kids again. I couldn't be out here hiking up to this petroglyph. I couldn't do anything. So obviously, I said yes. I had the surgery, and here I was at 30 years old, unable to walk, unable to even wipe my own butt. I was crippled. And it took almost a year to recover. I ended up throwing my old walker away. I walked out to the back of my yard with a machete, and I cut down a maple tree branch and made my own cane because I was bound and determined to get rid of that walker. And then And then as I sat there recovering, trying to figure out what I had done wrong in this world, who I had pissed off, and I was in a really deep and dark place, I stumbled across e-commerce. If you were like me, you were taught when you were younger, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. It's hard to make money. You got to do this and that and the other thing to make money. So I had the wrong mindset about money. I didn't realize that there were ways to make money from home. And so that's what I did. I set off on a new path and a new plan. And I found a new mentor who had taught me how to go from 0 to 1 million in 12 months. Well, at that point, I was below zero. I was dealing with just getting over bankruptcy because my son was born with club feet and put us $500,000 in debt. I was dealing with recovering from back surgery and not being able to work for a year. And so I set out off on this plan of how to make $1 million in 12 months. Here's the cool thing. I did it. I went to every thrift store, every Walmart, every Target clearance aisle, and I was buying things that I could flip on Amazon, on eBay, wherever I could to make a buck. The funny thing is the money doesn't grow on trees bullshit. The money doesn't grow on trees stuff. That's where I started, was books. I flipped books because I read a lot and I knew that certain books were worth more than other books. And so I set out on this path just to pull myself out of that debt and start a new life. Holy fuck, my arm's tired. As I went down this path, I started making money. And I started making more money. And then I finally made enough money to create my own brand and my own company. And so then I was like, you know what? I'll finally be happy when I can build a big business, sell it, and move back out west where I grew up, where I loved it. And that's where I live. As you can see, I live out west. I live in southern Utah. The problem have you ever tried to sell something that you've built from scratch? Basically, if you have kids, it's like taking a kid you've raised, say like toddler plus you, like 5 years old, and then just selling it, saying, man, I'm done with this kid. I don't need him anymore. That's what it's like selling a company you built. So I went through a horrible mental struggle of like, I don't deserve this. I shouldn't have my happiness that I always wanted. Why do I deserve to be happy? Why do I deserve to get everything I ever wanted? And so it was this big, big struggle. But guess what? I pushed through it and I sold my company. And I moved across the country from bitter cold Wisconsin to here, which is southern Utah. It is still technically winter. It's a beautiful day out. The sun is shining. But here's the problem. Everything that I always said would make me happy, the money, the place where I moved, it wasn't what made me happy. That wasn't what made me tick. That was just a little tiny blip on a roadmap. And so here I was living the life everyone always imagined to live. Well, maybe not everyone, but here I was living the life that most people would dream of. And I was miserable. I struggled to get out of bed. I struggled to do anything. And then I found the one thing that I never knew I needed. And that's when I started writing my book. I realized there was a lot of things that I missed throughout my life. A lot of things that I should have done differently. I realized how much helping people made me happy. And so I took a step back and I wrote a book. And the book is called I'll Be Happy When. And this book is changing people's lives. People who are stuck in their own heads, who have no direction or path. It's showing them that there is a way to change their lives. And that's why I'm here. After all the struggle and the figuring things out and the ups and the downs, I realized what truly makes me happy. And that's helping out people just like you. Helping you get the things that you've always dreamed of. Helping you find that happy place that you've always dreamed of. And that's why I wrote this book. The messages I get from people make it all worthwhile. That I've changed their lives. That I've shown them there's a different way of living. And that they too can be happy. So I welcome you to join me and millions of other people on this journey of finding out what it is that makes you happy. And that's what my book will do. It'll teach you my life story, teach you lessons from my life story, and show you how to find your happy place.